Okay, Paul, thank you so much for your patience. I'm really looking forward to meeting you. So I'm promoting you to a panelist, Paul. So everyone welcome Paul McNeil to F.A.C.E, and I'm unmuting you, buddy.
Hey, morning. How's it going?
Good, Paul. Great to meet you.
Same.
And you can share the screen if you just go to scroll your mouse underneath and it'll say share. It's a green box.
Gotcha.
And then we could take a look at your setup and see what drives you crazy every day.
Sure. Yeah, let me see if I can pull up. Mine is just news curation portion,
Okay.
but
All right. Well, you can show your website. That's fine.
sure. Great.
I have it up if you can't.
Yep, you can pop it up if you can. Yep.
Okay. So let's see. I'm going to share, and I have it here, right here. So here's Paul McNeil's website, Crypto Curator. So before we talk about what you do, Paul, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you were doing? I looked at your Twitter handle. You're a mentor, you're a coach, you're a friend, you're a Renaissance man.
Yeah.
Okay, so before you got into crypto, and how long ago did you first start adopting it? Tell us a little bit about your life before crypto.
Sure. Yeah, so I probably started with the fact that I left high school. I grew up in Dallas, and I'm just returned to Dallas. Super excited to be back in the city after being gone for so long. But I left high school. Really didn't know what I wanted to do. Probably should have went to college, but I didn't. Instead, I took the fast food route. While I was working fast food, the military sort of caught me on the way to work one day, and they recruited me. So I got an opportunity to serve the country for 10 years in submarines. I did that job. It was a great job. Had a phenomenal time there. Taught me so much.
You were what, on submarines, Paul?
I was on submarines. I was on 3 different submarines.
Wow.
2 of them in Hawaii and 1 in Norfolk on the East Coast.
So you don't have claustrophobia.
Unfortunately, I don't.
Well, fortunately, you do. You don't. Yeah. So yeah. So tell us a little bit about how you were able to transfer the skills that you gained in the military, and maybe a lot of it is, not knowledge based, but discipline based, that translates into what you're doing now.
Yeah, so many different skills the military taught me has allowed me to do sort of what I'm doing in the crypto space today. Communications is definitely one of them. They teach you how to communicate effectively and to get your message across and to be able to relate to people from different walks of life, different levels, from the top officer to the lowest enlisted guy. I learned a lot of skills from that, and that's translated well into my ability to network and to connect with other people. And that's sort of what got me into crypto. It's just connecting with other people.
How many years ago were you introduced to it?
I actually came across Bitcoin back in 2011.
Wow.
And if you can only imagine, listen, I'm not a coder. I'm not a developer. I understand tech to a certain point, but I'm not one of the cypherpunks. Let me put it that way.
I'm the lowest tech guy you'll ever meet. Go ahead, buddy.
So not being a cypherpunk, but Trace Mayer or Max Kaiser, I came across them on Twitter. And of course, if anybody knows me, they know I live on Twitter. But I came across those guys, and they were talking about Bitcoin. And I had the opportunity to go find the white paper, read the white paper. And just like everybody else, after you read the white paper, a switch goes off in your head, and you go, oh, my goodness. And that's what I did back in 2011.
Okay. All right. So, boy, you've had some years to ride the roller coaster. What do you think of that experience of seeing markets that could, go up 4 or 5 fold and then give up 70–80% of those gains and then do it again? What's that taught you? Just witnessing it, whether you were long the market or not. And I assume, most early adopters probably cleaned up, unless, it's like the story of the guy who bought a pizza with about 10 Bitcoins. That would have been, I don't know
With
how many
10,000
million.
Bitcoin.
Oh, it's 10,000 Bitcoins. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Anyway, he has indigestion. So tell us what kind of psychology and emotional things you went through, and how you have learned to just, this is just the way it is, and adapt to this kind of volatility.
Sure. I traded stocks before I got into crypto. So
Okay.
sort of, on my journey there. But trading stocks, and I did a lot of day trading of stocks.
Okay.
Made a lot, lost a lot. But through all that process, and then when I saw crypto, and at the time it was Bitcoin, and I think Litecoin. So it was Bitcoin and Litecoin at the time. Ethereum wasn't even around. Watching these markets blew my mind, how rapidly it could run up and how rapidly it could fall. But what it taught me was patience. And if anybody's ever really had an opportunity to learn patience, this market will teach you patience like none other. Now, if you can't learn patience, you're going to probably lose a lot of money, because if you can hold on and stick with it, you'll see that these bubbles that run up, they come crashing back down, but they come running up even higher, and they crash back down. They run up even higher. So if you got the patience to, as we call it, hodl, you could be in a really good position.
All right. Well, tell us how you felt early in the year at 3,000 Bitcoin.
So
Well, were you patient and have enough conviction that you're not only holding, but you're accumulating?
absolutely. So, and
Okay.
I'll give you the reason why for that. So again, being in
I'm showing
previous,
the chart now.
sure, being in previous bubbles, and from all the news that I curate, and from
Like
all the
this.
people that I listen to, I knew what was going on. Now, most people don't have the luxury or the benefit to sort of do what I do, but when you're listening to that many voices, that many data points, that much information, it's almost easy to hodl. But I
It's
watched.
interesting, Paul, that you bring it up, because I'm a big believer in social trading and the
Mhm.
strength of a community and
Yep.
masterminding. So now I know what you do.
Yep.
You're really intelligence gathering.
That's exactly what I'm doing. Listen, I've
That's
listened.
your military background too, isn't it?
It is. It is. It really is. Intelligence gathering, listening to a lot of information. And I came across Delphi Digital. And if nobody's heard of those guys, you really should tune into them. Their reports are phenomenal. DelphiDigital.io. These guys, when I first, well, I was introduced to Kevin Kelly earlier, a couple years earlier, before they formed Delphi Digital, and I literally cold reached out to him from seeing him on CNBC. It was a Bloomberg presentation that he was given. I was just sort of fascinated by it because, again, I was in regular stock investing as well. So after reaching out to him, I talked to him about Bitcoin, and he sort of went radio silent for a while, but then we reconnected, and he was like, hey, by the way, I'm launching this new research team for cryptocurrencies. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. So, but these guys do some really hard-hitting research. Their Bitcoin report was an amazing. I tell everyone, even today, you still should read their Bitcoin report. 59 pages of amazing information. So I read that report early in the year, around January, late December, early January, and they were saying that 3,100 was going to be the bottom. And they said that let me take it back. They didn't say that 3,100 is bottom. They said that the market would bottom Q1 of 2019. And after that, we were back off to the races. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So getting exposed to information like that from those types of minds helped me trade the way I trade.
Well, what are your minds saying now after this recent recovery and sideways action here? And I'm interested. I do interview quite a few crypto traders,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them told me about, maybe you're getting this, Ghost Month in August
Mm-hmm.
for crypto, which is the Asians
Mm-hmm.
celebrate, observe it, and that's a time when they pull in their horns
Yep.
from speculation. Is that what is showing up on Crypto Curator, that August could be a great opportunity if they sell the market off to buy at a certain level?
Absolutely. A little bit of that is starting to trickle in. Some of that news is starting to bubble up. But I'll tell you, a trend that is starting to develop in the news, and I'm seeing it coming from multiple people, is this $20,000, $20,000, $20,000. Everyone is
Target.
talking about it, and they're
Yeah.
saying that we're going to get there 2019. So,
Okay.
and
I know guys talking 30, Paul.
yeah, I know. And Dan Pantera is talking 42, right, from Pantera Capital. I mean, Dan Moorhead, not Dan Pantera. Dan Moorhead from Pantera Capital is talking 42,000 by the end of this year. That's his prediction.
Okay.
So the point that I was making there is that you were sort of asking what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that this bullish action we're seeing again is going to run us right back up again through the end of this year.
Okay. Is Bitcoin the only crypto you follow? What other kind of a lot of people stuck in altcoins? Do you cover some of that garbage?
Actually, I do, and the reason that I do, and
They're
I
like
sort of,
pink sheet stocks, aren't they, Paul?
they are like pink sheet stocks. I
Or a
promise you.
bulletin board, or
Exactly. It's ridiculous.
they have to pay people to buy it to generate
Yeah.
volume, right? Isn't that investor relations?
Some probably do, but
Yeah.
where my brief stops is I normally stop around the top 10 or top 20. I normally
Okay.
don't cover too much news outside of that. And the reason that is if you look at the market cap from CoinMarketCap or Brave New Coin, they both have great charts and markets on this. If you look at the top market cap assets, I think we have about 14 of them now that's in the $1 billion club. And I've been tracking this because I've been interested to see how many reaches the $1 billion club ranked. Right now, the last one is Monero. Dash is almost in the $1 billion club at 964 million, but Monero and Up are all in the $1 billion club. So once an asset reaches a $1 billion market cap, I think that project, whether it has validity or not, there's something going on that's keeping it at that level. Now we got Bcash.
Wasn't the kind of the appeal of Monero is that it the anonymity aspect of it, privacy, and I heard stories of people that thought they had privacy and found out that governments knew what they did in Monero. How about you?
I don't know if that's true. I think Monero is still significantly private. I don't think anyone been able to tell what people are doing with Monero. But
do you own that?
I don't own Monero. No.
Okay.
And I'll tell you.
So I believe in when I talk to people, it gives me more conviction about what they're saying if they have skin in the game.
Correct.
So you just long Bitcoin.
Yes. So I'm definitely long Bitcoin big time. I tell most people, everybody I talk to, I tell them take Charlie Lee's advice. He says before you own anything else, and that includes Litecoin, which he created, you need to own one Bitcoin. That's Charlie Lee's advice.
That's a pearl. I like that. That's going to be our tagline. Yeah. Okay. So, is there a subscription here, Paul, or it's free?
Yep. Right there, there's two bubbles, one subscribe daily, one subscribe weekly. The daily comes out every day. I try to get it out before 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then there's subscribe weekly, which I then take all of the week's news and I sort of put it together so that you can sort of see what happened the entire week.
Okay. So people just give their name and email, and then is there a fee for this?
No. So I've sort of switched the model a little bit. I still provide the top 3 news articles, a video, and a podcast for the day. And I send that out daily to the free list. And sometimes that's sponsorship driven. So sometimes it's sponsored. I have another list where I give the full digest. And if I can share my screen, I can show folks an example.
Okay, just grab it.
Okay.
Scroll your mouse under at the bottom, and you'll see a green share. New share.
Okay. And it'll be my email that's there. So let me know if you guys can see.
There you go.
Where is it?
What's this halving about that's coming up on Bitcoin? That's a bullish event, isn't it?
There's actually a couple of halvings that's coming up. One's for Bitcoin and one's for Litecoin. The Bitcoin halving will be next May. and the one for Bitcoin, I mean, the one for Bitcoin will be next May, and the one for Litecoin will happen in a few more days.
Oh, okay. So that's generally, what's that doing? Reducing the supply?
Yes. So what happened is when Bitcoin first came into existence, the reward that you get 50 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. Every 10 minutes, a reward is given in any of the blockchains. Well, the ones that have proof of work, but every 10 minutes. So then Bitcoin halved to 25 Bitcoin, and then we're now sitting at 12.5 Bitcoin. Next May or June, it'll halve again to 6.25 Bitcoin.
Okay.
Litecoin is the exact same thing. It came behind Bitcoin though, so it's one halving behind. So it used to be 50 Litecoin, and now it's 25 Litecoin, and so it will now have to 12.5 Litecoin.
Okay. Thank you very much for that.
So this is an example of the brief, and I think it's showing up on your screen.
Yeah, it is. You're up there.
I normally start this one that I'm showing you here is the one that's reserved for my Patreon supporters, but I normally will put a community choice, show them what the previous day got the most reads. And then I'll have a top news section, which is the top 3 news articles. I'll give you the top 5 digital assets, talk a little about price and technical analysis, normally curating the analysis from many of the folks in the industry from different publications, telling you what's going to happen with the assets. I have a crypto trading competition. I won't go into that. Altcoins, I'll have a section where I talk about the altcoins. If it's big news stories on them, I'll put it in there. Crypto market overall, forecasts and opinions, acceptance and adoption. So I'm trying to hit all the buckets where people might want to have some interest in, hey, what's going on with adoption? Is it actually being adopted and used by anybody? Andreas Antonopoulos is normally my video that I do because he has amazing videos. He's an amazing guy in the space, but I also sometimes switch that out with a Ready Set Crypto and Altcoin Daily. I will do the on-ramps, talk about blockchain itself, if there's something with the code that's going on, legislation and regulation, controversies, anything with scam, hacks, and attacks, because people need to know what's going on with that. Then Would You Believe, deeper looks, are just some places me to put other articles. I normally put a podcast a day and then a bunch of resources, including other newsletters, because while folks might like my newsletter, there are some other guys that write they do a much better job and go deeper in thought on what's going on. So those are the newsletters.
What a great resource.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I met you. It's also because you have to educate yourself about this before you do it. And, you know, I see you have wallets on your front page. And,
Yep.
you know, to me, a wallet's made out of leather.
Right.
Okay, Paul, so you're talking to, you know, a guy who used to carry his charts around in his hand, and they traded currencies on chalkboards. So,
right.
But I really, you know, I talk to a lot of smart people who have a lot of conviction about it, Mark Yusko being one of them, and people who I respect and pay attention to. And I'm an intelligence gatherer, and you were part of the process today. So, you know, thank you so much for accepting our invitation. And the best way for people to follow you and give out your website, I have it here at www.thecryptocurator.com. Paul, like it or not, you're now my trading warrior brother.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
And really enjoyed talking to you. You have a great demeanor, and I really believe in what you're doing. We only have 2 eyes, right, Paul?
That's right.
So
Only
you
2
go
eyes.
out there, and 1 + 1 can equal 11.
That's right.
So really appreciate you. You gave me conviction about my mission, and I wish nothing but prosperity and pips and 40,000 Bitcoin. And then when you cash out your Bitcoin at 40,000 or so, Paul, consider adopting me. All right, buddy?
I will do that. But, you know, I tell you this, there comes a point, and I'm going to mess this up a little bit, but in the Matrix, when Neo was asking Morpheus when did he know he was ready, and he'd basically tell him, you know, you basically know when you're ready, right? Yeah. It's the same thing with Bitcoin. There's going to come a time where we're not going to have to shift it into fiat anymore, because it will be, that's what's there. There's no more fiat to shift Bitcoin into. It becomes a unit of account. That's the way it is going to be.
Wow. All right. So notes from McNeil. with his outlook for the future, I do agree the war on cash continues. So
Yes, it does.
thank you very much, Paul.
You're welcome.
Have a great weekend.
You
Appreciate
too.
it very much.
All right.
Okay. Everyone in F.A.C E, have a great weekend. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. And we'll see everyone Monday. Adios.